The line for the dunking machine was twice as long as the cakewalk line. The line for the cakewalk was 1/3 the length of the line for the hoop chute. If there were 12 people in line for the hoop chute, how many people were in line for the dunking machine? Well, what I would like you guys to do, since hopefully I remembered, yes I did of course, label the top of your journal, and if you forgot your journal, just grab a sheet of lined paper and follow along with this work so you can reference this when we do some examples tomorrow, because we will be doing some examples tomorrow. So since this is going to be working backwards at the top of your page, you can entitle this Working Backwards. Backwards. All right. This is another problem-solving strategy. And it is where you actually do work backwards through the problem. And that is what we're going to be doing. But as in any word problem, we first need to make sure we know what the question is asking us. So we answer the correct problem and give the correct answer to the correct question. So in this case, we are looking at how many people were in line for the dunking machine. Okay, so that is the question we are being asked. Now there are 3 lines going on, so what we're going to do is set up some notes to the side, and I'm going to use some initials here so we don't have to write it out completely, and we can leave room on the side for any work that we have. So, cakewalk. Oh, I'm going to erase that entire thing. Oops. I'm using a new tool here, so forgive me, guys. Come on, get this working. All right. So I'm still trying to get used to this. So, dunking machine. Come on. Dunking machine, cake, walk, and hoop chute. All right. There you go. And we'll put some lines out here. That is what I also want you guys to do in your journal. And this is what I want you guys to do similarly when we run into a problem like this as well. It'll usually involve 3 similar options, and we'll be working backwards as well. Okay, so working backwards. We'll start with the last sentence in the problem. If there were 12 people in line for the hoop chute, so we know that in the line for the hoop chute there were 12 people. So we'll come here to the section with the hoop chute and write in 12 people, because that is something we definitely know. Now, again, working backwards, go to the previous sentence. The line for the cakewalk was 1/3 the length for the line for the hoop chute. So I'm going to underline 1/3 because that's a key phrase in our word problem. And I want you guys to be doing that in your word problems as well. So make sure that you are picking out what those key phrases are. We've been doing that in class, but when you guys are working, I want you to make sure that you are doing that on your own. Circle, underline, highlight if you have a highlighter. I know some of you guys like to use highlighters. So these are the things that you would be highlighting. So what does 1/3 mean? 1/3 means, in this case, that we are going to divide by 2. We need to split it up into thirds, and splitting means that we're going to divide by 3. So we're going to take the line for the hoop chute and divide it by 3. And 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. So we know there were 4 people in the line for the cakewalk. 4 people. All right. So again, working backwards, we've gone to this line, this sentence, and now for the first sentence, the line for the dunking machine was twice as long as the line for the cakewalk. Twice. We know we've run into that one before. What does twice mean? So twice, seen. Twice can mean 2 different things for you guys. It's the same thing. 2 different operations, and remember that operations, okay, we need to remember what the different operations are. Operations are adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing. Do not forget, those are the 4 operations. So when I ask you what operations you're doing here, you need to remember adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And tomorrow, one of the questions I'm going to ask you is what were the operations that we did in this problem. So be sure that you're ready to answer that. So twice, there are 2 different operations that you can do to answer the question twice. You are either multiplying by 2, or you can be doubling it, which is that you would take, and we know there are 4 people in the cakewalk, and we add the same number to itself. So we are either multiplying it by 4, or we're multiplying it by 2, or we're adding the same number to itself. Now, we did touch math last week with the dots on it, and we can use those dots here for multiplication or addition, and I'll just add those in there. So we can do 4, and we would do 4, 8. So it would just be a matter of skip counting, because multiplication is skip counting, so we would have 4, 8. So 4 times 2 would be 8. In the case of addition, we would start with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's the same thing. So twice you can either multiply by 2 or add the number together. I find multiplying by 2, depending on what the number is a lot easier than if you were to add it together. So we're going to stick with multiplying it by 2, gives us 8. So the number of people in line for the dunking machine was 8. Okay, so, all right, moving on to the next problem. Let's see if we can do this one faster. Philippe picked a pumpkin that weighed 3 times the weight of Meg's pumpkin. Meg's pumpkin was half the weight of Ryan's pumpkin. Ryan's pumpkin weighed 14 pounds. How much did Philippe's pumpkin weigh? First step, underline. Oh, I need to, come on. There we go. How much did Philippe's pumpkin weigh? Okay, so we have 3 people, Philippe, Meg, and Ryan. All right, working backwards. Ryan's pumpkin weighed 14 pounds. Well, it just gives us Ryan's weight right off the bat. Meg's pumpkin was half the weight of Ryan's pumpkin. Half. Half means that we are going to divide by 2. So dividing by 2 gives us 14 divided by 2 is 7. So Meg's pumpkin weighed 7 pounds. Okay, so half, that's the key word in that. Philippe's picked a pumpkin that weighed 3 times the weight of Meg's pumpkin. So we're going to take Meg's pumpkin, and 3 times is just times 3. So we would do 7, skip counting here, so we would do 7, 14, 21. So 7 times 3 is 21. And Philippe's pumpkin weighed 21. And I didn't do this on the last one, but we need to make sure that we label our answers for word problems. So Philippe's pumpkin weighed 21 pounds. All right, now make sure you're ready to tell me what operations we did. Make sure you wrote these notes in your journal. And are able to show me the work that you did. You do not have to rewrite the problem. I want to see this work so you know how to do this problem, because in the morning we're going to do some similar problems that have a similar setup, and I want you guys to be ready to do some working backwards problems as well. All right, see you guys in the morning. If you did not bring your journals home, just write them on a sheet of paper and I'll be ready to check those. Have a great evening.